It's bigger than the trauma, bigger than the pain. We breaking chains, shifting lanes in the brain. From the ciphers to the couch, we bringing change. Narratives reframed, now the story ain't the same. Bars like therapy, beats like a guide. Voices amplified where the truth can't hide.
Welcome back to Healing Thru Hip Hop. It's your host, Shine. You now locked into Healing Thru Hip Hop, the podcast where we are exploring the therapeutic power in hip hop culture. Thank you everybody for tuning back in. This episode is special because, it's our first time, her first time being on a podcast, my first time having a guest on my podcast. So we both kind of a little nervous, but we're going to get to it. And what helps is that this has been my friend for over like 20 years now, like sandbox days for real. Like, we could really tell y'all some stories too, like going back to elementary school, right? So definitely going to make it easier. And everything I do on this podcast is very intentional. So when I was thinking about who I would have on my podcast, the very first person that actually came to my mind was you, because your story is actually like the epitome of what Healing Thru Hip Hop is, and how we can use our culture to help us go through those things in life that, we all go through trials and tribulations, some worse than others, but being able to use things that we already have and things that we know we are comfortable with to empower us and to foster resilience and change and empowerment that we kind of look past sometimes. We like hip hop, just music, right? But so many people have been, for sure, like so many people have been using hip hop as a way to manifest change within our communities for the last 50 years. So shout out to you for being one of the people who are like a practitioner of
Thank
it,
you.
Like I really
Let's
we're gonna get to it, right? Right. So my favorite hip hop movie is Brown Sugar, right? So you ever seen Brown Sugar?
Bits and pieces.
Okay,
I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, too.
We're not gonna do that. Bits and pieces.
Okay. So I bring that up to say that Sanaa Lathan's character, she was a hip hop journalist. She started out every interview that she ever did with this famous line that I'm about to ask you right now. So you're about to make Healing Thru Hip Hop history by being the first person to ask this question.
All right, let me hear it.
Okay, so when did you first fall in love with hip hop?
Oh, okay. So actually, my first love was R&B.
Okay, I'm here for you.
I'm a lover girl at heart.
Same.
So I was coming up listening to Chris Brown, Sammy, Neo, Pretty Ricky.
Okay.
I think that kind of resonated with me the most and more than hip hop, just because of, I was always in relationships. I was born in February, it's the month of love. And that may or may not have something to do with it, but R&B just spoke to me in ways that hip hop didn't connect with me at that time.
And as a true hip hop, like a hip hop teacher or whatever, like I'm gonna challenge you to say that, even though like that is hip hop though, like, cause it's the hip hop and R&B element of it.
Okay,
though. You get what I'm saying? Cause it's like I feel like was you listening to like 70s R&B though? Like
it was more like early 2000s.
Yeah, but I feel like that's such a still like a bridge of like those two genres. That era of like when you first, I could track it back to like You're All I Need with Method Man and Mary J. Blige, like the start of that era of music, where it's just like a lot of those songs that you're naming too still have rap features too.
Right, that is true.
Yeah, so it's like, and I think that kind of like goes back to us always kind of like centralizing rap as hip hop, where it's like so much bigger though. So I'ma just say that you always
that's hip hop.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's how I feel about it too. But Heart of Hearts though, like same thing for me. Like R&B is like my number one listen to music still, even though I like hip hop practitioner, hip hop therapist, and after probably still like rap music probably will still come third for me, like because there will be like dancehall, and then rap music though, but.
We're going to talk about that later.
You know what I'm saying? Because you got a Caribbean background yourself too. So what was your relationship with that, like with that type of, with dancehall?
So with dancehall, reggae, soca, my parents are from Trinidad and Tobago. So I always grew up listening to all that stuff. And one of your parents are from Trinidad, right?
No, Guyana.
Oh my God. No.
Listen, Guyana and Jamaica.
Guyana and Trinidad always got some underlying beef going on for some reason.
Oh my God, that's so crazy.
But we're so similar.
I think that's why though.
Yes, it's like Puerto Rico and DR. You know what I mean? They're so
because
similar.
It's like we got beef. Yeah, that makes sense.
But soca, reggae, dancehall, I grew up with that and I love that type of music. Like that's always speaks to me I honestly put that in line with R&B music.
Got you.
Like both of them at the same time. I grew up listening to that, and I just really felt it.
So, but as a DJ, are you judging a song like by the beat or by the lyrics? Because that I think you going. I think I'm seeing a pattern.
So it's both.
Okay.
It's both. For example, right? Boom, bye bye.
Okay.
Hate the lyrics.
For sure.
The beat is
for
fire.
Sure. For sure. Okay.
The beat is fire.
Okay.
Like every time somebody plays it at a party, I'm like, oh man. But I'm like, I gotta hold myself back from this.
No.
I feel it so
like I hear it in my head now, and all I want to say is boom, bye,
right, when
bye.
I'm like, it's like, oh man, but that shit, it slaps.
Okay.
It slaps. So it's both.
And dance soul culture, that would be called like a rhythm.
Yes, exactly.
I guess on the topic of DJing, like, what made you want to be a DJ?
A few things. So when I first started college, this was back in like 2011. I ran into, shout outs to DJ Six Figures. He was the first DJ at the freshman parties that they had. And when I
don't mean to cut you off though, but are you talking like dorm parties? I didn't get the experience.
You know what?
College,
okay, let me
right after. So you gotta like really
hold on. All right, at Albany, I went to Albany back in 2011. I was a freshman. You know
for sure.
So when I heard him play at the freshman events, I was like, yo, he's killing it. And he reminded me. He took me back to Queens. He was playing the soca, the Afro beat, the reggae, and he had everybody vibing. And I was like, yo, I want to do that.
For sure.
So from there, it wasn't until like maybe a year or two later, I got a laptop. I downloaded the software I needed. I spoke to him about it. I told him I was interested. And from there, I was bored one day. It was like during winter break back in like 2012-ish. I was absolutely bored out of my mind. I was like, yo, I need to do something. So I was like, let me just check out DJing. Let me just do something. And once I started downloading the songs, I was like, oh, I need this, I need that. And then it just kind of took off from there.
And you already had that love for music though, right?
Right.
So it was kind of easy for you to
kind of transition
because that love for music was already there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And another reason why I wanted you to be like one of my first guests is because of how important the DJ is to hip hop. And I think, so I look at it like this. Parties have always been like how we like congregate in hip hop culture. Like that's like the event space where we get to kind of showcase our hip hop in a sense, right? And the DJ is like the ringmaster of the whole event. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm gonna think. I got such an old school brain. I can't think of no new songs. But let's say you at a party and a DJ play. You got beef with mad people there. The DJ don't know what's going on. He's not privy, right? He or she not privy, right?
Yeah.
And he play like Knuck If You Buck, right? Now you setting off emotions in that place that could kind of lead to like, you know how many parties that got shot? I've been to that and got shot down. I mean, I got shut down or cops called on or whatever because a DJ played a certain song that kind of evoked like a certain feeling in a party though. So that's why it's so important for me like to highlight like how important like a good DJ is to read the crowd, to see like, cause you like I see so many DJs like. It's like, are you playing for you? Or are you like you in your own? You gonna say it? So like being kind of like a ringmaster and like bringing people together and having everybody like having a good time is like.
Okay, I like what you said because I'm gonna bring it back to the reason why I liked DJ Six Figures as a DJ when I first went to college. It's because he had the ability to control people in a good way.
Nah, I feel exactly what
you could take people's emotions. Like you said, somebody could be having the worst day of their life. They come for a few hours, they forget exactly where they are. You don't you don't know what people got going on at home, but at least they have a space where they can come and relax and forget about all their troubles. And they go home and you might change somebody's life in that moment, and being able to control somebody's emotions, how they act in a positive way, I think that's so impactful, and I wanted to be that kind of person.
So besides him, who else influenced you like then and now?
My influences, honestly, were my parents. So
I love that.
Yeah.
That's mama love and papa love, for real.
They were divorced my entire life, but they were very hardworking people. And they also supported me so much musically because I used to play the trumpet. I'm gonna get into that now. I used to play the trumpet from like, I would say 4th grade
I remember.
until like high school. I was in programs at places like Juilliard, Jazz at Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts. I was in a marching band.
I wish, like, yo, I'm so happy that you brought that up though, because like I'm in like, you know, meening that I really know you. Like I was like, I had all of that like already, like, because that musical journey of like it really began for you real young. Like,
Early,
you always been mad
early.
exceptional. Like,
Yeah, thank
for
you.
sure. Like
Thank you.
you're playing the trumpet. I'm like, what is going on? You're playing like, come on, bro. You've been top class, honor student. You know what I'm saying? Playing the trumpet, bro. Like
it took
on
me
a
to
basketball
places.
team. You've been
Yeah,
doing, like,
I know. Like
yo,
being an athlete too.
sure,
like they went to my games. They made sure I went to practices early, and just being there for me. And at the same time, coming from people who I was in separate households, they still made sure I did what I had to do and kept me in like a good space. Growing up, I could have chose any route. I could have hung with the wrong crowd, you know, but I chose to focus and do things that kept me busy. You know, idle hands make the devil's work, you know.
That's what they say.
But they kept me on the right path. You know, I did have some hiccups growing up because, you know, I was battling my sexuality, you know, because that is a huge part of my life. For sure. But I love the fact that it just kept me in line. It just made me want more for myself.
For sure. And growing up where we from in Queens, you know, people try to like play Queens like it's like a beautiful place. And while it is very much so, it's still a lot of crime, a lot of opportunities for you to go to wrong route.
Even now.
More, for sure. Like even more than ever, especially as you're a teenager, like you said, battling, going through your own personal struggles as well. Like it's very easy to say, F what everybody else got going on. Let me go outside to the streets. You know what I'm saying? And
don't get me wrong. I got in a lot of trouble at
I know
school.
they watch it now too. Like, girl,
I got in a lot of trouble.
I
like I've been suspended. I got in fights. Like, I mean, that's what we do. We're kids. You know, we're still trying to find ourselves.
A lot of it is definitely just normal childhood experiences, though. That sometimes we like
as a black,
and
a black child
for sure. And I feel like sometimes even as black people too, like we are so strict on each other because it's like you don't have that many chances. Like, you don't gotta you don't have the opportunity to really have a normal childhood experience and go through stuff like, oh, like it's real normal for like a kid to smoke weed, get into trouble, steal stuff, all of that. But as a black child, like, nah. I feel like that's why we so strict on each other too. Like the parenting style as well too. And I feel like also being like Caribbean.
Yeah, and a girl.
Like it's so many
we
layers
couldn't do
to
nothing.
For sure.
And I remember in middle school, there was girls pregnant in middle school, people smoking weed in middle school. For sure. We was always around that type of environment.
That's a fact, you know? So I guess we could kind of bridge over from like, you know, you making that move like in 2011, like you said, you went to college to come up here in Albany. So like for people who don't know and not from out here, well, how would you describe like Albany's music scene?
The music scene, honestly, is what is to me, right? It's who you know. You could be up here for years and never get in tune with like what's going on in your area. It's kind of crazy. Some has to do with promotion, right? You need a certain level of promotion in order to make yourself heard. Some of it has to do with popularity. You know, a lot of people have grown up here and they already know people. That's so much easier to get started. Another element is there's not much opportunity out here sometimes. You might be DJing at a spot, you might have a residency for a couple months. A year later, that spot might not even exist.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? Because, you know, there's so many factors that go into opening a spot that we want to go to, you know, that we feel comfortable going to. And stuff like the cabaret license thing, whereby you need to meet certain criteria to even have live music at your establishment, that could hold back so many opportunities for artists, for DJs, for singers, you know? So I think a lot goes into Albany's growing music scene.
What do you think your role is in shaping the culture out here?
Okay, so there's a lot of layers as to who I am. I'm a woman, for sure, right? I'm Black, and I'm also a lesbian, right?
Masculine presenting as well.
Right, mass presenting. For me, I feel like there needs to be more representation.
Gotcha.
I feel like as though collaboration is the key. I want to make sure people's voices who don't normally get heard or people might not see out when they go to local events, I want to make sure people get a spot. I want to make sure that the local bars have different varieties, you know? And at the same time, like my role is to let people know that we don't always stick to one thing. Like I'm not going to always DJ at a bar. I can also do weddings. I can also do corporate events. I can also do private parties, baby showers, birthdays. You know, I don't just
more
stick
than just
to
a
one
club
thing.
DJ.
Exactly.
Got you. I guess, you know, you bring it up like, you know, being, you know, some of your identifying factors. Do you think female DJs get the same respect as male DJs? Or and two questions in one, like, and how do you feel as a female DJ in a male dominated industry?
I would go back to, like I said, it's really who you know, right? This goes for everybody.
Got you.
There might be certain groups who like they know each other, they have a good rapport with each other, and that's all they know. So they're gonna continue to promote themselves. They're gonna continue to go to parties, play at parties. But I feel like if people don't know who you are, you're not gonna get the same play as other people,
regardless of being a man or a woman.
Exactly. How will you promote yourself? I learned that in this area, especially, promotion is so important. Just finding new ideas to put yourself out there. Maybe go to different bars, speak to different owners. A great way is social media.
For sure.
Tremendously. You know, just finding different ways to have other people collaborate with people you might not speak to on a daily basis. And I think reaching a wider audience is a good way for any DJ
for sure
to get out there, regardless if you're a female or male.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So how long you been like, would you like nightlife, right? Like you've been like you turned 18 and you was like, I'm outside, like or like how did you get even interested in like wanting to be a part of like nightlife? If that makes sense.
Do you mean as a DJ or
like, participant in too? Because I feel like, you know, you like to shake your tail feather.
I like to dance. I love to dance. So like growing up, you know, as in a Caribbean household, we are very used to different parties. You know what I mean?
I see.
Where
for sure
everybody is dancing. Like the music invites you to just move. You know, you're not just sitting there and not doing nothing. You know, it's fast paced, fast beat. And we just want to like, oh, this song is hype. Like it just makes you feel so good. So when I go to different parties, like I've been going to parties since I was young. You know, I remember I was 16 in the summertime. I was just going to different places back to back.
Party hopping.
Yeah, exactly. Party hopping. I loved the just how the vibe was at parties. At the same time, I did not feel comfortable dancing. As in, I could not express
what you really wanted to get down to.
What I really wanted to do. What I really wanted. I wanted to grab a girl. I wanted to catch a dub. You know what I mean?
So how was you when you kind of consider yourself coming out where you will be able to freely do that with no fear,
no consequence?
Yeah, no consequence.
So I always had a girlfriend, right? But publicly, it was a little different. Like we would still show public displays of affection, but at that time, it wasn't. I couldn't really do what I wanted without a care in the world. I was constantly thinking about what other people would think about me.
You know, it's so crazy how in our lifetime, and we're only like 30, but we're about to be 32 years old this year, that you see a blatant shift of like society. Because like kids, like, we you know, like this, I don't know if like if you follow like TikTok and stuff like that, but it'd be like, oh, old school stuff versus new stuff. Like we did the old school.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh man,
nah, wait a second, stop out. But
like, when did we get here?
Like I'm dripping to have these 21, 22s.
The baby studs.
For sure. But I feel like for them, like they have a totally different experience of what it means to like be a stud
Mhm.
now, and to like growing up, just the acceptance. Like we didn't like what they made the legalization for gay marriage in 2016. So I'm already a grown adult at that time. You get what I'm saying? By the time 2016 comes along, so for them, they don't really understand how like lucky they have it where you could just kind of like lit. And don't get me wrong, it's still definitely a lot, especially with the political climate right now.
Yeah.
What's going on? Like, so I'm not gonna be
Socially,
Yeah.
it's way more
Oh,
accepted right now.
absolutely though, because I remember like being in high school and really like having to make decisions. Like, am I going to really like dress like this, or am I going to like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't never just, oh, I feel I'm gonna go with how I feel. You know what I'm saying? It had to really be a conscious
Yeah.
choice. Like, and then I remember somebody that told me this. Because I growing up, actually I didn't know a lot of studs or whatever like that. Like all my friends were like, so I was around a lot of boys and very toxic situations. But me being around, so the first like stud that I kind of was friends with, like she told me something that kind of stuck with me forever. She was just like, choosing to live this lifestyle, and I don't want to be like, I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying being gay is a choice, because it's absolutely not. But I'm saying you do have a choice whether or not you want to live in freedom or not, you know. But she was like, accepting, like choosing to live this lifestyle, you have to accept that it's certain shit that just comes with it. You get what I'm saying? And when she told me that day at 15, 16 years old, it kind of struck me to be like, you know what? She's absolutely right, though. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's certain things that no matter what, I can't convince everybody that you know what I'm saying? I am who I am. You get what I'm saying? I can't convince everybody that, like, I'm normal. You know what I'm saying? Because there's certain people who just like, no matter what, they're always gonna look at me like, oh no, you want to be a man.
Yeah.
Oh no, you want to do this. You know that. But it's like, I just like being comfortable.
Yeah. Exactly.
I be trying to sound so dating, but I say I just like being comfortable. Like,
yes.
That's
like, literally what it comes down to is comfortability.
For sure.
Like how do you want to represent yourself?
For sure. A lot of the reason why I invited you on to me be my first guest, and I thought about you instantly, is because of like your story, and that, you know, and I know you're much more than what happened to you, you know, and I don't even know how to bring it up, you know, because it's so sensitive. You get what I'm saying? Like,
I don't mind talking about it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of past the point of, oh, can I tell my story? Like, I can tell it with no problem. You know, it's just the lingering effects of that physically. I still have to live with to this day.
For sure. So you could start off by, you know, telling people like what happened to you.
So this was back in like 2021.
For sure.
I was going to this party. I was with my friends, you know, we just came back from Bombers, and we was like, yo, what else is going on tonight? So I went with them to this spot in Albany, and I was having a great time. Like, you know, I seen people there that I knew. I seen a lot of people that I didn't know, but it was a great environment. Granted, it was during that COVID era, you know.
Okay. We're not really supposed to be outside.
Right. We wasn't even supposed to be having that party. But people just needed an outlet. You know, we've been cooped up for so long that we just needed that release and just be around other humans, that physical touch. Because we need that, you know?
I agree.
So I was having a great time. I was drinking. I was with my friends. We was all vibing. And everything just happened so fast. Like, I feel like I got there around early, around 11 or so. It might have been earlier than that. But I just remember everything happening in at least from the point of me being at the party until I was in the hospital. It was probably maybe less than an hour or maybe a little bit over an hour. It just happened so fast.
I want to stop you right there. So, you know, us being like Caribbean, or just honestly Black in general, we always talk about like bad juju or like bad feelings, right? Like that night, did you ever like, so before, like if you can remember, like before the incident happened, did you at any point that night you ever had like any feeling like I shouldn't be here, or at any point, you know, like?
Honestly, no.
Yeah, because you like you said, you was like you having a good time.
I was walking up to people I didn't even know and just starting conversations.
It was one
That's
of those
how
nights.
good. That's how good I was feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It might have been the alcohol, but I just know that I wanted to be outside. I felt free.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to talk to people, just be around other individuals, and the same energy I was giving out was the same energy I was receiving from other people at that party. So
at no point did you feel like
nah,
funny. It was a good move. It was a good.
I didn't even know shit was happening until we was in the middle of it. You know, like people was. I probably didn't even hear the first shot. That's how good I was feeling, but at the same time, I was not aware of my surroundings.
Gotcha.
That was a part where I've had to learn the most, just to be aware, because anything could happen at any given moment.
Right.
And I was just so naive. I wasn't thinking about what could be my possible exits. Granted, we shouldn't even have to think about those kind of stuff, but in this climate, anywhere you go. Unfortunately, you have to
stay on 50.
You have to be on point, because you just never know.
For sure. So, at what moment do you realize that you've been shot?
I realized I got shot the moment I felt this burning sensation in my chest. The moment I felt that was when I realized that we were in danger.
Yeah. Do you fall? Or is it like, because I guess for a lot of people, when they think about like it's like so dramatic. Like,
no, it's not.
They're like movies, you get what I'm saying?
Nah.
Like, and not even to make light of the situation, but like, you get what I'm saying? Because like, when you think, actually, like most of us, I mean, a lot of us in the Black community experience some type of gun violence, whether it be witnessing, knowing somebody who got shot, or experiencing it ourselves, though. But the vast majority of America,
they don't know.
For sure. You get what I'm saying? So they think of like, you think of like fucking scenes from movies, like Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, where you
like
instantly
that,
fall. That's not the case.
And I thought a lot about you not even being like a stereotypical gunshot victim, right? So when we think of gunshot victims, we think about people in gangs or like men, right? Or people who kind of like live that life. So it's like expected, like, oh shit, X, Y, and Z got shot. Then you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I never knew nobody in my life that, and I want to be very, very gentle when I say this too. But I don't know a lot of people in my life that it wasn't a shock to me that they got shot. You get what I'm saying? And not saying that they deserved it in any which way or shape or form. We don't, we're not gonna glorify violence at all. But it's certain people that live certain lifestyles that you'd be like, oh, okay. It's kind of like, that whole like that saying like you live by the gun, die by the gun, right? So like for you, I go back to what we was talking about earlier, like you always being mad exceptional, right? Like you was a kid that was on top class on a basketball team, playing I don't even want to curse because I'm on YouTube, so I've got to but playing a effing trumpet, bro. Like, how many Black kids do you know that are playing a trumpet, going to Juilliard? You get what I'm saying? You got into Bayside, and only people from New York City would really understand how, like, Bayside was, like, the best high school that we was all trying to get into. Like, you was, like, a chosen child to get into Bayside. So, like, you are, like, the person that's, like, most likely to succeed, not most, like, so, and I guess going back to that day, because I remember that moment, like you wrote me, like I was like, first of all, like receiving that text message from somebody like you, like I said, never thought I would ever, and what was so crazy about it is that I don't know if you remember, but that day I came out the hospital, and it was that very same day I came out the hospital. When I came home, you like left me balloons in a card. Like, you dropped off balloons in a card for me. You get what I'm saying?
It was the same day?
Absolutely. The same exact day. And so I had just come out the hospital, and I came home. I read your card. I'm, like, crying. But, like, I was so emotional because of what was going on with me at that time. That I read it, I was like, damn, that's really my friend. Like, she got me that card. Like, you get what I'm saying? And balloons. Like, what is going on?
And you wasn't even there.
Sure,
and I coordinated with, Nicole, and I was like, yo.
For sure. You're so surprised. Like, I'm like, oh my God, like, this girl is, like, so special. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I love you, bro. You get what I'm saying? You. So, when you hit me up 12 hours later and said that, I'm like,
It was
That
like
can't be.
way left.
You get what I'm saying? It's like, then I could show you right then again how life could be just, you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking like,
Instant.
you know, like, so, I get like segueing back into that night, you know, you said like you didn't feel no bad vibes. It was just a good night, you know.
I was feeling great.
Yeah.
Feeling really good. And it makes sense because I left you those balloons. You know what I mean?
It was a good day.
I honestly forgot that it was the same day. I thought it was maybe in that week.
No,
you know what I mean?
Exact day,
That's
bro.
crazy to me.
The same day, son. And I'm like, oh my God, I just left Albany, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
And you know I'm crazy too. You know what I'm saying? So the first thing in my head, I'm thinking vengeance immediately. Like, you get what I'm saying? But I'm like messed up. Like, you know, I was going through some like crazy thing with the facial palsy at that time. So I couldn't even do nothing. I remember being on the phone with my cousin and she like, girl, relax. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do nothing. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't help her right now. You can't. The best you could do right there is just wait for her to, you know, on her. She's gonna like that's a good sign that she's writing you, that she's telling you know what happened. You get what I'm saying? And I'm just like, yo, I remember hitting up Erica like, yo, bro, like, what the you know? So like, bro, I'm so happy that I'm here to actually like, you know, have this conversation with you today. And it's not like, you know, it didn't go left because that moment, like, you want to talk a little bit like about your injuries?
Yeah.
So
yeah, of course. I was just standing and I didn't realize what was happening until I felt like it was just burning sensation, right? I knew I was shot. I was like, oh shit, I'm shot. But I didn't actually drop to the floor until somebody else told me to drop to the floor. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna just follow whatever everybody else is doing. I'm just still figuring out what the fuck is what's going on, right? I'm still figuring out what's going on. I had no idea. Like I said, being naive, not really being aware of my surroundings.
Gotcha.
So I dropped to the floor, and we just constantly hearing gunshots. It just felt like all night it was going off because it was, you know, it was a couple different people. Just constantly hearing that gunshot, and it felt like it was just never ending. So finally, I went to the bathroom. I finally went in there, you know, realized what was going on, just looking at my body.
So you were walking and everything?
I was walking, yeah. And other people, when they explained it back to me, I was very calm. It could have been the alcohol. I don't know.
Or your body just being in that initial
maybe shock. Right.
Sure.
But I was very calm. I was answering questions.
Do you remember it?
Yeah. There was a nurse in the bathroom. She said she was a nurse. She wanted to make sure I was good. She was looking at my arm. I didn't know what was going on with my chest at the time. I just know it was still that burning sensation. It wasn't until we got to the ambulance. I walked out. My friends was telling them, hey, my friend is shot. I just remember just walking like, you know, still calm. I was a little out of it, but I was still able to answer questions. I was still calm. I didn't really feel the pain, right? But once I got to Albany Med and they started cutting all my clothes off, that's when it hit me. It was like, oh, something's wrong with my arm. Like my arm, I didn't know the severity of it at that time, but I realized my arm was in bad shape. Even I remember one of the nurses like, I still remember her reaction because I was like, I remember whimpering in pain and she was just like, she couldn't handle it. She had to leave the room. I was like, damn, this must be bad. And then they, you know, cut my shirt open, saw all of the holes because I had very, very bad grazes. There was a bullet stuck in my left breast. And it wasn't taken out until like a month later because it was
on your birthday.
Right, exactly. So it went in. They didn't know where it was, but they saw where it was in my body at the time, but I couldn't see it physically.
Gotcha.
They didn't take it out at that moment. All they did was put a plate in my arm and stitch me up here and put my bones back together. But a month later, I could actually feel the bullet in my breast. It went to the surface. My body was rejecting it so much that it was literally pushing up against my skin. A month later, it didn't hurt. Mind you, it did not hurt. It just traveled. It was like, this is a foreign object. I'm not supposed to be here. It could have went the other way, you know? It could have went the direction of where my heart was. Luckily, my body was like, nah, Nah.
Shout out to the body.
For
real.
No, for real. It was like purging inanimate objects. Like, nah, I need to get out.
No, yeah.
So I could actually feel it. Before, I was like, where is it? I don't know where it's gonna travel.
And how was that month for you? Like, I imagine that you was probably like living in fear for that entire month of like knowing
it wasn't
that a bullet is inside you.
I was thinking about that, but at the same time, I had so much other shit to worry about, as in how I'm gonna take care of myself.
That's real.
Putting on my do-rag. I couldn't even do that myself. I lived with roommates at the time. I had to teach them how to, I was living with two guys, right?
Yeah.
I had to teach one of them how to tie my do-rag on me because they didn't know how to do it. And just basic stuff.
For sure. Like your quality of life
I could not.
overnight.
I could not.
Yeah.
I couldn't even drive a car at that time. But I did go back to Queens for a few months, and my family definitely held it down for me because I couldn't.
For sure. Do you think you needed that? Like that time to get out from up there?
I needed that just because, first of all, they didn't want me to be in the area. They didn't even want me to come back.
And I was going to ask you that too. That was going to be one of my next questions. Like, so at any time did you like, yo, F Albany? Because
I wanted to move.
Yeah.
At that time anyway, I felt like I was very removed from the culture. I was living in Schenectady in a town called Glenville. So
out the way.
I was very, very, very out the way. Mind you, I wasn't DJing. Well, I
here
was,
and there, right?
Huh?
Like here and there?
Yeah, here and there, but I wasn't doing bars or like, I wasn't in the local area to DJ. So I was depressed when I went back to Queens for those few months. I didn't have my car with me. So it's not like I was mobile. So I had to rely on my family for everything. Yeah. And I just felt like I couldn't do anything. So I took that time to go back to DJing and really focus on something else rather than what I was dealing with at the time. So I was with my other DJ friends. Shout out to Erica. Shout out to Jiggy. We was really online, just showing the world like, yo, we still doing this. You know what I mean? So I definitely leaned on my friends at that time, and it was helpful for just dealing with that situation.
And being from the outside looking in, I started to see like a shift in you after that, like shortly. Like it was like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was like, oh, this girl's crazy. She is back outside. Like, no way. Like, and that's why your first couple of minutes, I'm coming with you because I'm like, no, I gotta help you put these things in your car. I gotta help you do something, bro. Because she is, you got.
I was on a mission. I was on a mission.
You got the equipment in your hand. One hand could barely move up your hand. I'm like, this girl is crazy. But honestly, like, you went through something that. This is your motivation. Yeah. This is the reason why this is your purpose. You get what I'm saying? Like you're seeing through that all and through your experience that, you know what, like this is gonna be the thing that uplifts me and get me back feeling like I'm alive again. Because I know a lot of people who wouldn't even go back to a party, let alone DJ the party. You get what I'm saying? So that take a lot of courage for you every day. And I guess what's coming to my mind right now to ask you is like, yeah, like any PTSD from that event, like being a DJ, being in a spot, you get what I'm saying? Like you in all types of like closed spaces, you get what I'm saying? So like how you feel today?
That was a journey. So my mom specifically, and other people too, my friends, was like, yo, are you going to therapy for this? I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't need therapy. What is it gonna do for me? I remember being okay. I remember being at Blown Smoke. Shout out to Tiara. She gave me my first opportunity, and I was opening for DJ Static a few times a night. But I would hear like a glass breaking or somebody a loud noise. I would immediately drop to the floor. And I didn't realize how much it affected me until those moments. And it would just be so
Sudden.
fast. You know what I mean? I didn't realize how much I was affected until it happened, and it was constantly. I'm like, nah, this is not how I should feel. And that was at numerous spots. Right now, I'm at a better place because I am in therapy physically. I finally got that. I went to boxing. That helped so much. And just a combination of those things, it helped me get over being more aware of my surroundings, just being more confident in myself in general. Helped me be in places that I didn't know I would have had, that would have triggered my PTSD. It helped me get over those moments where I'm like, nah, this is not a fight or flight moment. It's just because somebody might have dropped something. It's just because the door to the back room swung a little bit too hard. Because every sound, I'm like, oh, what is going on? Do I need to run to the front? I remember running to the front in a lot of different places off just the first loud sound I would hear. And that's not normal.
No,
that's not normal. And I had to get over that.
And I think about like even like parties being a lot of times where people plan fights. You know, I remember back in the day, me being young and like, I can't wait till I get to this party to see you. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like, I'm not even ever thinking about people.
You know what's crazy?
Their own struggles. You get what I'm saying? Like PTSD and stuff.
Yeah, that to me, my age right now, I'm always thinking like, yo, why would people go to parties thinking like, yo, I'm about to get this person? Like, why would you go outside knowing you already in that type of energy? And hearing what you just said is like, people really plan stuff like that.
Yes.
Because
being young,
that's the only time you'll have the opportunity. You know what I mean? If you're in that life.
Absolutely. And like, and especially like being in like a big city like New York City, like, you know, like I might not ever see you again. Because so this is gonna be my only time to get my only chance. Like, you just like, what? You know what I'm saying? And not like, again, I'm never you gonna use this platform to like glorify violence though, but this is just a reality of what a lot of people's thought processes. You know what I'm saying? So again, I'm always give you credit to even just like even doing what you're doing is defying what you've been through every single day. Using that as like I guess a segue to talk about like violence in general, because you know, gun violence is a reality in our community. So I guess you being a survivor of, you know, being a gunshot victim, what do you think needs to change? And specifically, what do you think needs to change in venues?
So I will say this, right? Gun violence is not just an issue in our community. It's not just a black on black thing.
That's real.
Gun violence is an American issue. That shit is nationwide. As we love guns. We adore guns.
We made it sexy. We beautify it.
Everything. You know what I mean? You put a gun in somebody's mouth, like people think that's sexy.
We bedazzle them. We do a lot with guns that's kind of, now that you really say that, it's kind of sick.
It's just not with us. It's everywhere. And I think unless it's explored on that level, you can't just deal with it on the bottom level, right? In just certain communities, because it's everywhere. So it's in our like, culture.
Like policy needs to change.
Yes.
Like we need stricter gun laws in order to ensure
everywhere, not just on a federal level, on a state level. You know, people go to gun shows and buy whatever they want. Come back to New York, all of the places that is actually banned in, and can just sell it on the street. Easily. Like, come on, you're never gonna get rid of the problem that way. You're really not.
But do you feel any responsibility to use your platform as a to bring awareness to any type of gun violence?
I would say there are platforms already doing the work. DJ Hollywood, he has this.
DJ Hollywood.
Shout out to DJ Hollywood. He got this platform, and it's based off of more music, less violence.
I love that.
He has events, showcases curated to bringing the community together and just
shout out. Let me know if y'all need a hip hop therapist.
Exactly. He actually he need to be on the show too, and he just makes sure to just have a place for people to express their outlet, express whatever they're going through, and just making sure that the world knows it's more than, it really is what's more than music.
Yeah, for sure. Nah. So if you could talk to, like, I work with kids, and a lot of them, enduring a lot of community violence, gun violence. The victims are getting younger and younger. The perpetrators are getting younger and younger. If you could talk to, like, a group of kids, what would you tell them in regards to gun violence and, getting caught in the cycles of violence and, some of the effects? Because kind of like what we highlighted earlier, like, you're not the stereotypical gunshot victim, right? And I talk to the kids a lot about this. And, like, think about the innocent people. You get what I'm saying? Because, like, I got kids in my that that I've worked with in the past that have shot at their ops, right? And I want to use this time right now to also, give respect to, because a woman passed away with a 90-year injury too,
Right.
And she was also pregnant, from what I believe, as
Mhm.
well too. So what about her, and what about those people who have absolutely nothing to do that in the process of bringing life? You get what I'm saying? That we go through, and that we just so quick to say, okay, well, I don't care, I'm about to air this whole I'm about to air this whole spot out, when you don't bullets don't got no
name.
names. Like, so
You know what's funny? I did not know the person that got shot. Her name was Shanita. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, for sure.
And I had no idea who she was before I entered that party.
Mm.
But the only thing I remember is that she was so nice. She was at the bar giving out drinks. She was so nice to me. That's literally the only thing I remember about her. And I didn't realize that she actually died that night, and that she was pregnant too. But she's remembered so much by the community.
No, they love her.
They really, really, really love her. And I'm just so sad that it had to come down to that.
And from what I understand, she had worked with, like, Snug and local. Like, she was very a big advocate against gun violence as well too. So
right.
That's so sad.
And like you said, everybody that was there has a shared trauma. People who knew her, people who was, because I wasn't the only one that got shot.
Absolutely.
There are people that got shot in the leg, people that got grazed. I wasn't the
like
only one affected. Yeah,
it was crazy.
A few people. So we all have that bond now. So it's like people have went on, and people have moved away. People are still here too, still trying to figure out life, how to move forward. But that has affected, even if you didn't get shot, that has still affected everybody that was there. Now everybody's looking over their shoulder like, oh man, what's about to happen?
You ever had any survivor's remorse?
Absolutely not. I was put here for a purpose.
For sure.
So I never had survivor's remorse, but it's always like, why me? Why did I have to go through this?
Nah, for sure.
At the same time, everybody goes through some sort of pain. That was my pain. That was that. And it's all about what you do after that. I could have been in a situation where I just went in my room, been depressed, not move forward. I could have shut down.
I think it's real easy to do that too.
Very easy to do
real easy to just get.
But I was actually depressed because I couldn't do nothing.
Busybody.
I didn't have my I didn't have my car was in Queens. That actually pushed me, because I couldn't do stuff for myself. When I got back to Albany, I was like, oh no, I'm outside. I'm doing this, I'm doing that by any means necessary. I'm gonna carry this equipment. Even though I have a cast on, I'm gonna do what I have to do. Thankfully, my community had my back, especially my friend Kiki. Shout outs to Kiana.
She's a real one for sure.
Yeah, she's a real one. Listen, we was out. We was outside. Like, if I had a gig, she was there. We was hanging out. I wasn't working at the time because I was still on disability, and I needed that outlet just to be free. Even though I was still healing physically, mentally, I was still healing. I just felt like I needed to explore different areas rather than just being in Albany. I was like, we was going out in Clifton Park, we was here, we was there, we was everywhere. But it wasn't until that moment that was kind of the pivot of just DJing at home and then DJing in the realm of now I have a bigger audience.
Do you consider this part of your life your second coming? Like ever since that incident happened?
So I've had a lot of pivots when
Okay.
it comes to my DJ career.
Mhm.
Like I said, I was interested back in 2012, right?
Yeah.
I was doing private parties, I was doing house parties, but in that time period, I stopped completely, whereby I wasn't doing music anymore. I actually lost all my music. That's where I completely stopped. And that was also a pivot because I didn't start again until like COVID, until 2020.
Okay.
And that was a lot of years where like I didn't download not a single song. Like I wasn't even listening to the hottest music, the latest music that was out at the time.
Yeah.
But once COVID happened, it just made me want to go back into myself. I remember having dreams about DJing.
Oh,
it was literally telling me like, this is the path for me to take.
And I think your story can actually highlight of that journey aspect of it. It's just like, because there's so many people like whatever they into, you know, if it don't elevate every year, they feel like they're not going nowhere with it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like what you're saying is that you've been doing this for the last 12 years, but it's been points where you didn't do it at all.
At all. I stopped.
Now, I feel like me from the outside looking in, and I could be very biased too. So please don't attack me, DJ World. But like, I feel like you're really one of the top female DJs in Albany right now. Like I'm telling you right now, like, and that's just I'm biased. You know what I'm saying? I could admit it though, but for sure though, like I'm not really seeing a lot of other people making no noise, and that's not to like really like to put people against each other though. But it's just about like, and it kind of go back to what you said earlier about who you know, and you know what I'm saying, the opportunities you have now because of that.
Exactly. But there are other female DJs in
shout them out.
We're gonna talk about that later.
Okay.
But my experience, I've had a lot of points where I stopped and started again. I feel like I lost so many years where I could have been further than I am now. You know what I mean? So, but whatever was going on in my life in the moment, I needed to be there. You know, and I think it took whatever I went through a few years ago to really push myself and to be out there because I wasn't ready at that moment. So once COVID happened, I'm like, nah, I need to get back into DJing. So, you know, I threw my little COVID parties, whatever. I wasn't supposed to happen, you know. But we all had fun. You know, we all was turning up and stuff. And then after that, after the incident happened, and I was like, nah. Then I was bored. Like, damn, I need to do something. Let me DJ. When one arm still scratching and whatever, and I was still doing it. Then once I got back to Albany, I'm like, I need a bigger platform. So that's when I started doing local bars and stuff and really started to be like, I want to take it to the next level. Then I had another pivot, right? And that was recently because even though I was at places like the Cloud, I was doing corporate events, there was a point in time where I was kind of falling out of DJing. I didn't have that drive anymore. I felt like I didn't want to do it. Yeah. I was very, very unmotivated.
What happened?
Relationship.
Got you.
So after that happened, I was like, I don't want to do this. There were points in times where I was at a party and I wasn't being my true self. I didn't have that energy. So it wasn't until I actually got therapy, because I didn't get therapy when I needed it the most. I got it years later. Sure. I started therapy a year ago, around this time, and then I started
going to therapy.
Yeah,
sure.
Therapy.
Shout out to
real.
therapists though.
It helps.
For helping people for real. Like.
Yes, and you know what else helped? Starting boxing.
Yes, that physical release. For sure. No,
listen.
I was so proud of you when you was telling me like you were unboxing. It was like, cause it's like, yo, bro, all the stuff that we talked about even before the incident, we would talk about, we gotta do this, we want to play sports,
and we
but when you like, I'm like, okay, bro, it's really like you got boxing pictures.
Yes.
Like, what is this? No, like I'm proud of you for real.
Such a rewarding journey. Shout out to Coach Curtis. Oh my God. He changed my life.
Get me right too, Coach. For real.
He literally changed my life.
Yeah.
I started that last year around this time. And that release, like you said, it took me so much further in conjunction and combination with therapy.
Yeah. And
very, very helpful.
And I'm also thinking and just being me, like that defense. Like I know that like your injury kind of like limits your mobility with your hand or whatever the
Yep.
case may be.
Yep.
So you might always feel a little bit like, on defense mode or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like always
Yeah.
being in like, because you can't like protecting ourselves is very important.
Very
You know what I'm
important.
saying? Like
Yeah.
regardless of what. So being able to even use that as like to get that mobility back in your arm and be able to like learn how to defend yourself again too. Like if you ever needed to do so. You get what I'm saying? And not even
Yeah.
like no crazy like brawl stuff. Just like, people be mugging people, all types of stuff for real. Like you never know. Like
You never know when somebody gonna catch you slipping.
That's serious.
And like you said, just that extra confidence goes so far, because I didn't have the same strength, and I still don't have the same strength as I did before. But the combination of just working out, working that physical therapy for months, helped me get that confidence back. Being able to protect me and mine was what I needed, because that really permeated what I was feeling with DJing. Because since I wasn't happy with myself, I could not be the best person I could be for everybody else. I wasn't showing up as my most authentic self. I couldn't place myself in those platforms to make other people feel good when I wasn't feeling my best inside. So I needed to do those things, and with physical therapy, with boxing, with mental therapy, that combination really changed my outlook. It made me go to the next level. That third, fourth pivot in DJing, because as you can see, I've been putting myself out there more. I'm just more confident overall.
Making a name for yourself, for sure. When you were going through those dark times in your life when you felt like you wanted to give up, did you see it transpiring with your work? Like, do you like look back and say like, damn, I could have like at any moments of you DJing, like, damn, I'm not even really like interacting with the crowd as much, or I'm not like feeling it, because I feel like you gotta like in hip hop therapy we talk about DJing as mindfulness, and how you have to be in a certain zen to even get into that mode of like, listening to the beats and picking and mixing and having that perfect transition. You have to be like as much as powerful as deep breathing. You get what I'm saying? Because you have to be in that certain mindset. So you said you seen like you said you saw like the difference. And
this time last year, how I was with DJing, I was not the best. I wasn't talking at all. Like I felt myself messing up. My heart just was not into it, because I wasn't feeling like, oh, this is who I didn't like myself, who I was at that time. My weight didn't reflect who I wanted to be. Mentally, I wasn't all there. So I know I needed to change a few things about myself in order to further my DJ career. And if I didn't do that, I would not be where I was, where I am today.
Was there there ever be any moments like as you DJing where you feel the energy shift in the room by like certain songs you play?
Yeah, of course. There could be a time where I'm DJing, in the beginning, sometimes we like to play some smooth R&B.
But me with that.
You're getting a little drink, you feeling good.
Just getting ready.
You don't want to hear no rah stuff too early, But when people are feeling themselves, getting more comfortable, getting some alcohol in them, then they like, oh, I want to dance. And you kind of it's levels to it. Then you want to bring the energy up a little bit more. You want to go too high too early, because you could kind of crash and now you don't know where to pivot. But once you kind of bring it up a little bit, bring it up higher, you might play some K-Tronada, get some people in a feel good mood. Then you might want to take it to reggae. People want to dance now, some dance hall. Go into that, and you want to play some early 2000s, some hip hop early 2000s where it's like, oh, I remember that song. Take
that nostalgic vibe.
Yes, being nostalgic, and then hit them with the new joints. It's like, oh, what you know about that? Or you might want to play a song from a local artist that people know. Depending on where you are, it's like, oh wow.
So geography matters.
Yes, absolutely. Geography, location matters, because I don't know any songs that's local in Queens right now, or
Oh my gosh.
in
Do you think
in Atlanta.
You don't think you'll be able to do it?
Nah. I could play like
Yeah.
for a variety of people, but
Got
like
you.
I don't know any local artists right now.
That's true. Because a lot of that grassroots hip hop, like especially places like Atlanta, they're real into their local artists and stuff like that.
They are.
For sure.
Yes, they are.
For sure. But what's a song that you play no matter where you play it? It's going,
honestly, R&B.
Okay.
Specifically Keisha Cole Love.
Oh yeah, that's
young,
true.
old.
Oh my God.
It's like everybody. I played it in middle school. I played it at a 60th birthday party. They all know it word for word. Sure. You know what I mean?
Keisha Cole Love.
Yeah,
that's
a
classic.
It's a feel. Wow, I'm gonna say feel good music, but everybody knows. She was going through it.
No, but for real though, like if you really listen to those lyrics though, it's not sad. A love song.
It's sad.
What she's saying, the only thing love about the song is the fact that she's saying love. Like for sure.
But it slaps.
Nah, for sure. So if you put it together like a healing set. Wait, quick question before we pivot into that. Like, do you practice before every set?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank God.
So my main goal is to always do something every single day.
Okay.
Now, sometimes I may not do that, but I have to organize my music.
What's on point? Like, you gotta be real current.
Yeah,
too, like,
you have to.
So
making sure I research. Research is very, very, very important. Once you're done with the research, then you can work on technicality. Like, okay, I gotta make sure my cues is on point. I gotta make sure I know what songs to transition to.
Okay. So you heard Drake album already?
Few songs. I don't love it. I like Give Me a Hug.
Please.
That one is nice. But I haven't listened to the whole. I fell asleep. I was trying to listen to it. No disrespect, but I was in the car. We was trying to listen to it on the way to the city, and I really was like, nah. I need something more upbeat.
I feel like it was forced. Like, I don't know. I just feel like that whole situation, like, and don't get me wrong, Drake is always going to be a phenomenal artist. I can never take away.
You can't.
Because going back all the way to 2009, seriously, we could start.
We grew up on Drake.
Sure, absolutely. But I don't know. I feel like he doing too much to show that he's the boss. Everybody know that, and I don't think that was ever Kendrick beat. But we could spend a whole 2 hours talking about that for sure, though. You get what I'm saying? But so, like, if you put together this healing set, what's on it?
Okay, when it comes to healing, you have to meet people where they at. Healing looks different for everybody, for sure. Right? You could take one person, what healing looks like to them. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna listen to this Summer Walker. I need to cry for a little bit. I might have just broke up with my man or my girl, and this is what makes me feel good at the moment. You could take somebody else. They want to hear gospel music. That's what resonates with them the most.
That's real.
Or you could take somebody else. They want to turn up and listen to Glorilla because they want to just forget about their troubles.
You talking fast, for real.
So healing is different for everybody. Everybody. So I think if you get a variety of different types of music, you could kind of hit all the points, because healing, like I said, everybody heals differently. And at the same time, somebody might want to throw on some Chief Keef. Fuck the world.
Nah, for sure. Absolutely.
I want to hit my ops because healing for me looks different.
For sure. Now that's true though, So I guess it's safe to say that like DJing or hip hop in general is just way more than just entertainment. For sure. What's next for you though? What's next in the world of DJ Celeb as you get into this third coming?
So honestly, I want to collaborate. This is my year of collaboration.
Gotcha.
I want to collaborate with different people, bring other female DJs that don't necessarily have a voice, or people might not heard of them. I want to bring them to all the spots that I DJ at.
Yeah, that's what's up.
If I can, if I have the opportunity.
Because guys do that all the time.
Exactly. They always bring their mans on. I want to do the same thing, give everybody else a chance.
For sure. At
the same time, I'm always appreciative of the DJs who have taken me under their wing. Shout outs to TGIF, shout outs to Intel, shout outs to DJ Ayo, shout outs to Ryan, DJ Fada.
Oh my God, you know mad DJs. When I
I do.
First of all, nah, no means to like you finish counting them out.
No. We go.
Okay, but when I'm like when we posted that together, I'm looking DJ this, DJ that. I'm like, oh my God,
there's
that's
so
y'all.
many. There's a lot.
For sure. No,
There's
shout
a
out
lot.
to all
The
the
young
DJs
ones,
in
the older
Albany, for
ones,
sure.
the ones that's doing their
around the
thing.
world, for sure.
There's a lot. So I'm already involved in a group with a couple of female DJs. That's in there, in the general area. So we could talk to each other about, you know, any problems we have, if we want to collaborate on future projects together. So I already have an outlet that I can go to if I want to invite more people into my space.
Gotcha.
But the next steps, I really want to go international. You know,
Okay.
I want to DJ in different cultures, in
Nah,
different
that's fire.
country.
For
I
sure.
just don't want to stay in the local area. Granted, I have DJed in different states before, but I want to move outside of that. Yeah, like I need to see what's going on in London. I want to see what's going on in Japan and Africa. I want to do those things. So just knowing the right people, I'm going to this this DJ convention this year. So hopefully I meet people that kind of aligns with my core values and put me in places that I see myself DJing at.
Yeah, shout out to DJ Celeb, the international DJ. I'm claiming
it's
for
time.
sure.
It's time.
So I guess that can kind of like segue into like, what do you want your legacy to be in music and in life?
So what I've always want people, how I want people to remember me is just always staying true to yourself, no matter what happens, because shit happens. Life happens constantly. You know, it could happen in a blink of an eye. You might have $100,000 in your bank account. 2 seconds later, you might have $1. You know what I mean? But staying true to yourself and just showing that you're resilient, that you have strength, that you can get through anything, and also knowing when to reach out and when to ask for help is super important. You know, it takes a village with anything you do, with kids, with your career. It takes a village, and there's people that want to see the best for you. There's people out there that want to see you progress and want to see you do good. You know, not everybody's out to get you. So tapping into that, knowing who's real, who's not, is super important.
Nah, for sure.
So just staying true to yourself, knowing who you are, and keep pushing.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things in like hip hop therapy too, that we push, like the authenticity, showing up as your authentic self no matter where you go. So a big part of hip hop therapy is like rebellion of like traditional forms of therapy, right? So like what you go to right now being like traditional talk therapy, right? Where you sit with a therapist one-on-one and you guys are like, you have structured conversation about, you know, whatever you want to do about. Like hip hop therapy is kind of like no rules. You get what I'm saying? You don't got it. You could show up however you want. You know, you ask me to say what to wear, I'm like, whatever you want. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, just being like yourself. And I think what you're saying is so important though, because I think a lot of us, especially in the age of like social media and the age of like likes and dislikes and clicks, like we like the first generation that really is going through this. From the moment we teenagers, like going back to MySpace days to now, where it's just like people are like the internet of being like so like the space where you gotta like try to be a version of yourself that's gonna get the most attention instead of like being yourself. You get what I'm saying? And it's like so easy for us to try to like catch up with it. I feel like even in hip hop too, like we do it too. Like we go broke trying to
keep up with the Joneses.
Come on, you get what I'm saying? So it's just like, yo, be yourself. Like whatever it is, the best thing you could do at the end of the day is at the end, if you could live your life and say, yo, I lived my life and I was myself. Like Frank Sinatra got a song like I'm so big with like music too. Like Frank Sinatra got a song called My Way. And like it's the song is so powerful because he talks about like no matter what you could say about his life, regardless of what, he did it his way.
His way.
You get what I'm saying? So like that was one of like
people really live their life based on other people.
Absolutely.
Especially parents. You know, they get influenced our decisions 100%. Yeah. You know, people sometimes they never really get a chance to just do what they want to do. And that's not what I want for myself.
Yeah. You are a multifaceted individual. You get what I'm saying? So showing up as your authentic self might even mean some days I don't show up. I showed up different yesterday because that's how I was feeling yesterday. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like I like that you like brought up like parenthood too, because I feel like a lot of people get stuck like, damn, like I'm a parent now. You know what I'm saying? I can't do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I gotta look out for Jabari. But the whole time, like Jabari's gonna grow up and he's gonna leave your house and he's gonna go do what he wanted to do, and now you're gonna be 55, looking like Stella got her groove back. You get what I'm saying? It's like no tea, no shade, but it's like nah, like never let nothing stop you. Like not even these children. Like,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Like, for sure. So how could people follow you and support you in your journey through music?
Instagram, it's DJ Celeb.
Okay, I'm gonna definitely put it right here on the screen.
Also, my personal Trini_Celeb. On my Facebook, my real name, Rashida Abraham, Rashida with an I, like Rashida Jones. Those are just 3 different ways that you can connect with me, connect with the events I got going on, just being a part of my journey.
For sure. So I want to thank you so much for taking some time out your day to come out here and really tell your story. I appreciate you coming on my platform. I love you too. It's a wrap.
This is Healing Thru Hip Hop, where the beats and the rhymes collide with your soul. Exploring the therapy in the culture, one track at a time. Let's heal.